Hi everybody, welcome to Deb's Way, and I'm Deb, and you are here for another hashtag Tea Tuesday. Yes it is. It's time for tea again. Tuesday comes around real fast, I think, these days, but anyway, it's a nice little chat time. And try new treats, which I have right here to try, and to use my new, ooh, that's hot, my new teapot. Yes, I've got some of this Celestial Bengal Spice tea brewing in the teapot. So this, I've mentioned this before, I do love this tea. It's got, well, here it even says it's a spicy chai style blend with cinnamon, ginger, and cloves. To me, I taste a lot of cinnamon and it tastes wonderful. So I love this tea. It is my favorite, and that's what I'm going to have today. Plus, the other day, I opened up my box of Maine. It was a box full of Maine is what I told people I received. And it's true. It was all sorts of things made in Maine or from Maine. And one of them was this little jar of Swan's Maine Beekeeper wildflower honey. It's unsweetened. I'm sure that's what it said. It is raw and unfiltered wildflower honey. So I'm going to be trying that in my tea today for the sweetener. Usually I use Truvia, I think it's pronounced. That's the sweetener that I use. But today I'm doing the honey. And actually I've had to pull out the honey lately because William is down with a cold. Yes, it's a cold. It's not, you know, the big thing. It's just a cold, but and a cough. So I've given him some hot tea and honey that I've had on hand. Not my honey from Maine yet. I haven't tried it yet, so, but he can have some of that later after I try it. I happen to have other honey from local areas on hand, so that's what he's finishing up right now. So anyway, got my tea brewing, have my snackies all ready here, and what I've got this time is some cookies. Oh, one of the cookies I have is this, it's Milano Slices, peppermint flavored cookies from Pepperidge Farm. And okay, I do see the peppermint chips on the cookies, but it looks more like, actually it looks more like flaked nuts on top of the cookie, not peppermint, but we'll see what they taste like. Okay, I don't think I've ever had these before, so this is going to be a taste test. We'll see what that is. The next cookie I have had before, and I love them. They are Chessman Minis, and yes, they're Pepperidge Farm also. And they're basically your shortbread cookie. Very, very good. And I bought some. I couldn't find any in the Pepperidge Farm display, so they did have a display of these little bags called Chessman Minis. They were 10 for $10, so I bought a couple bags. You don't get many, but they've got little Christmas decorations on the cookie itself. So, you know, I do remember in years past, of course I know things changed within the last couple of years, but in years past, Pepperidge Farm used to put out a holiday assortment tin of cookies, and I used to buy that and have tea or hot chocolate in the evening, you know, eating those cookies. And it was a very nice assortment, different flavored little cookies, and you got to know several of the different types of cookies that Pepperidge Farm puts out. But they didn't have anything like that this year, so I had to make do with what I have, and that's fine. But anyway, today is a little chilly day for us here. It was about 54 degrees when we first got up this morning. It has warmed up to about 63. It's a nice sunny day, but if you're in the shade, there is a strong wind, and it really makes it much, much colder, of course. But this is pretty chilly for us, okay? And then tonight is supposed to get down into the, what I remember, maybe about 48 degrees overnight, and then warm up steadily tomorrow. So it seems like we go back and forth from pretty decent days of like maybe 70, 80 degrees, and then go back into the cold weather of like 50s, 60s, yeah. But that's our late fall, early winter. And it is the season for that to happen. So perfect season to have some hot tea on hand or hot chocolate, whichever. Let me see. Oh, this looks like it's brewing nicely. Good. Let me just shake it up a little bit. I like to do that. Yeah. I love this little teapot. It's so pretty, and William has looked at it several times on the counter and remarked on it too. It just has such a lovely little peaceful, relaxing scene to look at. So I'm glad I went back and got it. And also my mug. Let me tell you about my mug. It has Shetland sheepdogs on it, and I used to raise and show Shelties in confirmation and obedience shows. And I did a limited breeding program. And I guess I was into Shelties for over 20 years. But after my first husband passed away, I kind of got out of Shelties, and the ones that I had at home, you know, through attrition, they left me. And, you know, they passed away. And I had Ginger. Matter of fact, I bought Ginger just before I lost my very last Sheltie. And I bought her with the idea that I was going to be flying around visiting, you know, friends and relatives around the country, and she could fly with me. So, and she does have her air wings, believe it or not. She's flown a couple of times. She's a very easy traveler. She did very well on the plane, but she hasn't had any recent trips. Oh, I don't know if I told you either, but recently, like 2 weeks ago or so, Ginger turned 14 years old. So my little girl is 14 years old, and I've had her since she was 8 weeks old. She's been a part of my family for many years, and now she's part of William and my family. So she was a very wonderful addition. But I do, I don't have a Pomeranian mug. I have just Shetland sheepdog mugs. And I have a couple of them, but this is one that I use most of the time. Okay, and that's what I'm using today for my tea. So let me take a look here again. And yes, let me get some tea poured. First of all, I'm going to put the honey in. I think that's what you should do. I'm not sure. And I'm not sure how much honey. I'm going to taste it. That tastes good. That tastes real good. I like this. Raw and unfiltered. Okay, let me pour some tea on it. Let's see how. See how sweet I got it. You don't really need a lot of sweetener in with this tea, but I'm going to see what the honey adds to it, if anything yet. You can taste it. Oh, it has a very nice flavor to it. I'm going to add a little bit more. Now I know usually, just like with William right now with his cold, he'll have some honey in tea, and that soothes your throat and cough as well. And when I have a cold too and a cough, I'll have honey in my tea. Of course, I've been known to put rum in my tea too. That works too. Yeah, that was probably a total of maybe half a teaspoon that I put in, and that did a really good sweetening job on the tea. So, where was I? I was just telling you what's going on around here today. Not too much. And I have a feeling that tomorrow I'll be working in the sewing room. But I'm not going to have I'm going to be working on the December quilt block, but I won't be finishing it this week. I'm not going to have a video out on Friday since it is the day after Thanksgiving. I'm not sure if I'm going to participate in any of the sales this week or not. You know, last year and probably the year before too, I never took advantage of Black Friday, but we'll see. I may this year, I'm not sure. So if anything, if it's supposed to be as cold as they say it is, I'll be here at home and sewing and working on a few different projects too. So this week, not too much has gone on. We're all ready for Thanksgiving. I did go to the grocery store today to buy a few things, and I kind of stocked up on a few of the BOGO items that they had. One of which was my husband's favorite type of vegetable, which is French cut, no wait, how did they put that? French style green beans. They haven't had them every time. Matter of fact, there were several months where I couldn't find that type of green bean, and he had to make do with just the regular cut type of green beans, which he didn't really care for. But the last few times that I've gone grocery shopping, they have had the French style on the shelves. So I've bought a couple cans here and there along the way. And now this week they were a BOGO, so I stocked up on that. So I've got the pantry shelves not filled, but I mean, I have some green beans in stock back there to tide us over for a while. And what else did I buy? Well, I did buy a hamburger that was on sale. We don't really need a lot of meats yet. And tonight I'm going to be making goulash for dinner. A nice warming meal. And that way I can have leftovers during the week as well. So that's for tonight's dinner. And I have shown you how to make that before. It's my mom's goulash. We like it. I make it every so often. And I will put the link up on the film somewhere to the video where I show you how I make the goulash. It's a really good, easy meal to make. And you can either make it on the stove, which I did for years, or I did it in the crock pot for years also, or just recently now within the last, 2 to 3 years, I've used my Instant Pot, and it comes out just as good, okay? So let's see, but that's what I'm doing today. Yesterday I had a sewing class, and it was the sewing class that I was looking forward to for a couple months, and that was machine quilting. And I took my machine with me to the class and was shown how to change the attachments so that I could do machine quilting, and did trial and error on some material, and that it was a lot of fun. I learned a lot. I came home with some information, and a book and demonstrations that I took pictures of. So I really, really enjoyed the class. So I'm anxious to get started on something. Before, when I had quilting to finish up, and what it is that, I would do the quilt top. I'd put the pieces together, and then I would buy the batting and the material that I wanted for the backing. I would put that together and take everything to somebody else that had a big long arm quilt machine and let them do the final job, sewing everything together with a decorative stitch. And then I would get it back, and I would do the binding. I would do the binding, the final sewing job around the whole outside of the quilt to finish it. Well, now I'm going to be doing my own everything to do with the quilt. I've been wanting to do that, but I don't have room for a long arm, and I really don't want to get into that. They're expensive. They are really very expensive. My machine will do the stitching that I need to have done. Basically, I do lap throw sizes or smaller. I did do a king size and a couple that were more like a twin size. I think I would be willing to try to quilt up to a twin size. But anything larger than that, if I do that in the future, I would send out to somebody else with a long arm quilting machine to handle it for me. it just gets to be too bulky, or I think it would get too bulky for me to work under the machine. But anything up to that size, I'm going to try my best to do it on my own. So that's what I've been doing this week. Outside of that, not too much is going on here. We do have our Christmas stuff in from the shed. I'm ready to get the decorating started, and I'll do that probably on Friday, if not a little bit before. We typically have the Christmas tree up by Thanksgiving, but you know what? I'm in no hurry this year. Is it just this year, or what? I heard more people that are not really, I don't want to say anxious. They're just not. They're just not concerned, or they're just not in a hurry to put the Christmas tree up or the Christmas decorations up until after Thanksgiving. And I guess that we're in that same mode. I have a lot going on with William, recuperating yet, and with his doctor appointments coming up for his eyes, and a doctor appointment too, besides. So, yeah, we've got a lot on our schedule. I'm just going to be decorating as I can. So I'll show you when I get it all done. It's going to be a little bit less than last year and other years too, but it's still going to be very festive looking here, and we're still going to have a very happy Christmas. So anyway, let's get taste testing here. I'm going to try one of these little chessman cookies, little shortbread cookies. It has a little decoration of a wreath on it. I don't know if you can really tell. I'll give a picture of everything here too for a close-up, but I like these cookies. Yeah. How many of you out there dunk a cookie in your tea or coffee? I don't. But I know there are some people that do. I just never have. Those are good. Now let me try this one, which is the Milano Slices Peppermint Cookies. I don't see where it says, really if there's anything special about it, just that it's a little holiday crunch, okay? And it's a limited edition cookie, okay? I have had Milano cookies before. We buy the mint and also the dark chocolate. This is the Milano cookie. Don't know if you can tell. The Milano cookie. And it has a layer of the dark chocolate. And then it's supposed to be the peppermint on top. I do not taste peppermint though, but it is a crunchy top. None of the cookies look like what the package shows. Like I said, the topping on this looks more like nuts. And I taste just a hint of peppermint. But they're not bad. They're okay. And I would eat them with, as a tea break. So that wasn't too bad. I'm going to finish my cookie. That makes for a nice little tea break. you know. Well, that's about it for now. I hope that you're all having a good one out there, that you'll have a very happy, blessed Thanksgiving. And Ginger sends her best wishes to you also for the holiday coming up. If you are going out visiting family and friends, have a safe journey and have fun. I'll be talking to you again real soon, but for right now, it's going to be bye for this Tea Tuesday. Happy Tea Tuesday. And here's tonight's dinner, goulash. It's been simmering now for a couple of hours, so it is ready to be served. Want some?